going to have a book review of the Vickers AR-15, and this is volume 1, and it is the 3rd edition, where that is a little bit important. We'll get into why the 3rd edition has some things that are added that weren't in the other editions. But before we get into the details of it, if you would please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and if you could, become a member and help support the channel so I can review really neat things like this. Now, this was not given to me. I purchased these with my own money. These books are expensive, but these Vickers guides are really, the quality and the photography and the information in these books, they're worth every penny. Okay, and not only does he do the AR-15, I believe there's like on the 1911, there are several different firearms that are in the Vickers guides. So go to, look it up, go to the webpage and see the different ones that are there. So let's take a closer look at this book, and I'll explain to you why I got it. Alright, like I said, these books are fairly expensive and they're fairly large and heavy. But this stuff is unique in a way that I've never seen. You got your table of contents, and it covers AR-15's Armalite, under Armalite, then it goes into Colt production, early variants, CAR-15, export, foreign models, M16A1s, and civilian guns are covered in this volume. Volume 2 takes you from the M4 on. Interestingly enough, here is an Armalite AR-1, okay? So there are a lot of photos. There's a story of the author and the other guy that helped him publish it, picture of the author. And it discusses, different firearms. Then it gets in, and one of the reasons why I wanted this is because of the AR prototypes. And it shows the 3rd edition has added like 5 other prototypes and close-up photos of them that were not in the other book. They take it here. And I mean, the scope of these photographs, they're large, clear, sharp, and highly detailed. They got number 1, and we're number 3. Number 3 is kind of what that the Brownells kind of is. But they have articles, this, that, historic things in here. Tons and tons of information. They have several photographs of prototype number 3, which is kind of similar to what Brownells was trying to make and what I have. That's the closest prototype to that Brownells gun I got. But it covers these AR rifle system and that. Magazines are also covered in here. Magazines, ammunition, there's cutaways of the ammo. They show you the different types of mags from the early ones to the 21s with markings and everything. A lot of, I could say, instead of like reading pages and pages of text, this book is more, and probably one of the best, a visual guide. Okay, the photos, the details and that, this is more of a visual guide because I can go find a list of all the different variations of the AR-15/M16 platform that Colt has made. You can easily look it up and look up all the different model numbers from 601 until whatever current designations they have, and get a basic description like barrel length, this, that, and what country it was sold to. In these 2 volumes, he just about has a picture of, if not everyone, an awful lot of the different variations of the AR-15 and mags and all kinds of other stuff. You know, and he tries to cover, like this is a 602, and there are several other different variations in this book that are covered. Here's the XM16E1, detailed photos and stuff. The M16, you know, again, more detailed photos, and it shows you all the different scrolls and markings in that. Very, very detailed book. And it also gets into some very unusual guns like that strange folding stock here on a 607. And then there's stuff in here I never knew existed. Belt-fed variations that were using gas piston systems. I didn't realize that Colt was even experimenting with a piston system on these rifles. So there's a ton of stuff in this book that I never even knew existed. There's cutaways, experimental guns, foreign contracts, and, you know, a lot of stuff in here, a lot. Diagrams, you know, reprints of diagrams and material, like this here, you know, and stuff you don't see every day. Semi-auto only, that's when they go into the commercial models, the SP1, I owned one of them years ago. And when you get into the back, it also does some historic stories about, like Rob Roy, the photographer here, and it's some historic pictures from back in the 60s and now. Some really, really cool stuff. Okay? Nice book. And like I said, you know, these things ain't a budget priced item, but if you're a real serious collector, and like when you guys ask me all these questions, hey, this, that, and everything, most of the information I get, I've not handled all these firearms. I go with a very expensive reference book, much like this, to gain my knowledge and have some better idea of things as a collector, or, you know, just the military history around these firearms. All right, thank you and stay tuned.